Welcome back to Views with Hughes, Culture and News. This is Jerome Hughes. Now, let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, as you all know, before Bob Iger came, there was a time when Disney stood for something special, something magical, if you will. We all grew up watching those classic films, shows, taking family trips to the theme parks, and actually believing that Disney was all about storytelling, imagination, and good old-fashioned fun. But somewhere along the way, years later, things actually changed when Bob Iger came in the picture. Now, Disney stopped being about entertainment and profitability and started pushing an agenda, a woke agenda under Bob Iger. Now after years of watching the company double down on DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion, it looks like the House of Mouse is finally making a strategic business shift with Bob Iger at the helm. Or is it? Now, don't get me wrong. You see, nobody is saying that diversity is bad. That's not the point. You see, America has always been a melting pot, and we love great characters from all walks of life. But what Bob Iger and Disney did wasn't about simply, including everyone. It was about risking their revenue stream by just simply forcing a woke ideology, one that actually prioritized political narratives over profitability and wealth creation, okay? And guess what? The audience itself actually rejected what Bob Iger was pushing. You see, we saw it with flop after flop at the box office, leading to massive losses in earnings. And we saw it with people canceling their Disney Plus subscriptions too, which is actually a big thing that's contributing to subscriber burnout and declining cash flow. Now, we also saw it with families who once made Disney their go-to vacation spot, choosing other destinations instead of impacting real estate investment in Disney parks and affecting, as they call the overall business performance. Okay. But for years, Bob Iger and Disney seemed absolutely convinced that they were on the right path with this whole DEI stuff, okay? And that the fact that their biggest fans were telling them otherwise, who were the smaller group. Now, Bob Iger helped to push ahead with corporate activism, race-swapped characters, identity politics, and messaging that felt more like a huge lecture than entertainment. And if you even dare to criticize it, well, guess what? You were labeled all kinds of things: bigot, racist, sexist, you name it, every istophobe in the book. But here's the thing. The people who rejected this weren't doing it because they hated diversity. They simply did it because they loved Disney and saw what was happening to it under Bob Iger, which is a financial disaster that puts shareholder value at risk, okay? And a lot of them are actually investors in Disney. But fast forward to today, and suddenly we're hearing that Disney and Bob Iger are quietly making cuts to DEI initiatives. The same company that's been investing millions into ideological messaging is now all of a sudden restructuring its, as they call it, financial priorities. And you may have to ask yourself, why now? Why do all of this? Why get rid of woke? What changed? Well, it all comes down to one thing: money. Now, Disney has been hemorrhaging, cash and stuff. Their movies are bombing. Their stock market performance is in a free fall. Revenue is down. Investor confidence is shaken. And Bob Iger, the man who came back, if you will, to fix things, is now in a full-blown damage control mode, because when it comes to big business, nothing speaks louder than the bottom line itself. Okay, now this isn't just some minor shift in strategy. You see, according to reports, Disney's chief diversity officer has exited the company, and the entire DEI division is being downsized in a cost-cutting measure. You see, they're actually, as they call it, cutting down on things, reducing capital expenditures, cutting passive income draining programs, and most importantly, they're doing it as quietly as possible. In other words, they went woke and now they're going broke, and that should tell you everything you need to know. Now, if Disney truly believed that DEI was the key to financial prosperity, well, they'd be shouting it from the rooftops. But instead, they're actually walking it back because they basically overplayed their hand and put long-term business growth at risk. Okay, but at the same time, let's be real here. Disney under Bob Iger has actually mismanaged its assets. You see, it's not like they can just arrest the situation overnight and fix everything. You see, the damage has already been done. Financial literacy tells us that trust in the brand is as an asset, and right now audiences and investors alike don't even trust Disney anymore. You see, Star Wars lost its financial momentum. Marvel's box office profits are in the free fall. Even their real estate investment strategy in Disney parks and stuff under Bob Iger is actually suffering, as fewer families planning vacations for Disney World and Disneyland. So even if the company is cutting costs and reallocating investments, I mean, let's be real, it's too little too late. But let's not forget, this is not the first time Disney has actually backtracked after major financial blunders. You see, remember when they fought Florida's parental rights in the education bill? Well, they took a political stance, got into a whole legal battle with the governor, Ron DeSantis, and then backpedaled when they realized that their business model, their shiny business model, if you will, and the tax advantages were at risk. And it's the same thing here. They push an agenda, a woke agenda, ignored their customers who are the parents, and now they're stuck restructuring their finances to avoid further revenue loss and shareholder backlash, okay? Now, let's be honest. Does this mean that Disney is suddenly going to go back to making profitable movies again? I'll wait and hold my breath, but cutting it a few DEI initiatives won't suddenly generate a billionaire level turnaround. You see, Bob Iger needs to actually listen to the audience and the customers. They need to go ahead and focus on wealth building strategies for the company itself, not woke political activism that alienates consumers. You see, Bob Iger and Disney need to rebuild consumer confidence, cash flow, and stock market performance. And that's going to take more than just simply quietly phasing out a few executives, okay? And that's easier said than done, but here's the reality. Families don't want political messaging, especially woke political messaging, interfering with financial decisions. You see, they don't want the whole corporate woke virtue signaling impacting entertainment profits. They simply don't want race-swapped versions of their favorite characters just to check a diversity box and stuff. What people want is strong, not only just strong investments in quality, investments, but they also want high-quality storytelling, profitable franchises and movies that actually drive business growth and wealth creation itself. They want great storytelling. They want to get the feeling that they had, the nostalgia as well, with a great story. And guess what? That's it. It's not even that complicated at all. And yet for years, Hollywood has been acting like the audience is the problem. They tell us that we're toxic if we don't like their woke agenda driven content. They claim we're racist if we don't support their latest reboot. But the truth is, consumers are actually more financially literate than they think, and they know how to vote with their wallets. And finally, after years of denial, even Disney is starting to feel the financial strain itself, okay, because that DEI money is gone. But of course, there's still going to go ahead and be law firms, financial advisors, and media outlets to try to spin this as a bad thing. You see, they'll say that Disney is abandoning progress or caving to the alt-right, but let's be real here. It's not about politics at all. It's about business strategy, entertainment, financial independence as well. Now, Disney is not, making these changes because they suddenly had a change of heart. Absolutely not. They're actually doing it because, well, they have no choice. Their audience spoke with their wallets, and now Disney is scrambling to go ahead and recover lost revenue and try to go ahead and rebuild passive income streams, okay? But the question here now is, will this actually be enough to increase the whole cash flow and stock market performance, as well as trust by the consumers and the customers? That's where I'm skeptical. Once the brand trust is broken or eroded, as they call it, it's actually hard to rebuild long-term financial stability. You see, Disney spent years alienating its audience, and people don't forget overnight. You see, sure, cutting operational costs related to DEI is a step in the right direction, but what about the damage to their whole intellectual properties or the IPs? What about all the franchises that they've actually devalued? Are they going to go ahead and fix those? Are they going to bring back the talent that actually understood what it means to entertain, as well as to do more wealth building entertainment strategies? And what about leadership? Bob Iger is still in charge, of course. Now, he's the guy who led Disney into this financial downturn in the first place. So, yeah, even if they're making these changes, how do we know that they won't just repeat the same mistakes? I mean, they're definitely going to do it behind the scenes, but you can cut costs and shift investment strategies all you want to. But if the same executives are calling the shots, guess what? Nothing really changes. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of people have already moved on to more independent or financially independent content creators. You see, they found better entertainment options. They're actually supporting entrepreneurs in the online business world, or as we call it, content creators, playing video games or just spending time with their families. You see, Disney under Bob Iger doesn't have the monopoly on entertainment anymore. And unless they go ahead and work to make real serious financial adjustments, guess what? I don't see people coming back in droves, okay? But maybe I'm wrong. I mean, maybe I am wrong. Maybe Bob Iger will finally wake up and realize that the key to financial growth isn't pushing, a woke agenda. It's making high return, wealth generating content itself. But until then, I mean, I wouldn't even hold my breath, okay? So let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Also, be sure to include any additional details or thoughts you might have in this particular topic. If you enjoy what was shared in this video, go ahead and smash the like button, share the video far wide across social media. And if you haven't done so already, enjoyed all the content that I put out there, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification, so that way you'll be notified of future uploads and updates. Till then, peace.